Hello and welcome to another edition of Career Magic with Nitin Kulkarni. In this series, I talk about little things that can give a big boost to our careers. So, today I'm going to talk about a slightly different topic. I'm going to talk about golf, the sport of golf, and what I've learned from it. Now, I started playing golf nearly 15 or a little more than 15 years ago. Over the years, I have learned the sport, gotten much better at it, enjoyed myself playing it, even started a business around the sport of golf many years ago. And today, today I'm going to talk about the things that I have learned from the sport that have made me a better person and a better professional. So I'm going to talk about 5 things. I like 5. The first thing is authenticity. Number 2, maintaining an even keel. Number 3, the ability to separate practice from performance. Number 4, respect. And number 5, responsibility. 5 really important things that I've learned from this sport. So let me talk about these things one at a time and see if I can unpack these things and relate them to the sport and why they are important. So the first thing, authenticity. Now, authenticity is about being the same outside that you are inside. So being true to yourself. So for example, if I believe that I treat others with respect, and that is what I'd like the world to believe, that is what I believe inside, then I've got to behave like that in order to make my actions congruent with my thoughts and intent. So authenticity is about that. Now, how is it related to golf? Golf is a sport that is very different from most other sports. Why? It's played over a very large area. So the 2 golf courses that I play at have areas of so one of them is 100 acres and the other one is pretty close to 200 acres, very large areas. And a round of golf typically lasts between 4.5 to 5 hours. Now, when you are playing the sport, you are obviously scoring and you often play competitively. Even in the regular games that you play, you set up a little bit of a competition. So there is a little bit of an edge in the game. And therefore, you have to count scores and you have to follow the rules. Now, by its very nature, because it's played over such a large area, the sport is not refereed. And it's really hard to see. So typically you play with a group of 3 or 4 people, 3-some or 4-some, and you play a hole together. And there are many such groups playing on the golf course. So what happens is that once you hit your shot, the goal is to get the ball in the hole in the smallest number of shots. But once you hit your shots, your ball, the different players may be in different parts of the golf course nearby because they are playing the same hole, the same general area, but they may not be very close to each other. And so what that does is it creates an opportunity for people to take some liberties with the rules. It creates an opportunity, and many people do take liberties with the rules. So, quote unquote, cheat. Either count the score wrong or move their ball into a better position so that they can hit. If a ball has been lost, they may drop a ball from their pocket and play it. Not everyone does it. Most people don't, but some people may do it in order to improve their score, look better, and win the little game that they are playing with others in their group or even in competitions. So golf has this unique challenge. However, what really happens on the golf course is that because you're playing with other people, people tend to have an eye on each other. So even though you may feel that I'm behind this tree and I can take some liberties with my ball, people sense that there is something going on. And people will figure out if you write your score wrong or you take some liberties with the score. Sooner you may get away with it one odd time, but people find out. And then you develop a reputation. And then people don't want to play with you. or people hesitate to play with you, or they will not play like a competitive game with you, or keep a really good eye on you, that sort of thing. So you develop a reputation. You're no longer, you may say that you play fair, but you are actually not doing so. So in a golf game, particularly when there is something at stake, either a pickup game between that 4 ball or a larger competition, these sorts of tendencies come out and you can see. In fact, there is a saying that you may not discover as much about another person in 5 years of a career as you would in a round of golf with some stakes. So these tendencies come out. So what golf has taught me is to be authentic. Behave like you would want yourself to be perceived. Do not take these liberties. But you find out. So that is what happens in real life too. In a career situation, a person who is taking some liberties with ethics, or engaging in negative politics, etc., may believe that others may not find out, but people do. And then you develop a reputation. So golf has really taught me that, if you want a good reputation, if you want people to look at you favorably, make sure that every single time your actions are congruent with your intent and how you would like others to perceive you. Because every action matters. Cheating once or twice on the golf course gives you a bad reputation, which is very, very hard to erase, and that's what happens in real life. So authenticity. The second thing I spoke about was even keel. Golf has really taught me to maintain an even keel. Now, a round of golf or multiple rounds of golf are a microcosm of life. What happens in a game of golf is unique in that sense, again, that in a round, I consider myself to be an intermediate level player, a decent player, but in a round, I play some really, really bad shots. So the range between bad shots and good shots in golf is very, very wide, and it happens fairly quickly. It may happen in succession. So golf teaches you to really maintain an even keel. Golf, because it's not played on a regimented sort of area, all golf courses are a little bit different. They have trees, they have hazards, they have water bodies, there's a lot of stuff. Golf, therefore, there is the element of luck that comes in golf is very high. Sometimes you may get really lucky. The ball may hit a tree and bounce back into the field of play, or the ball may hit a tree and then land up in water. So there is an element of luck. But obviously, it balances out over the course of a round or over the course of many rounds. But it's really important to remember that there is an element of luck in your success or failure. Now, let me tell you 2 stories about these 2 aspects. I have a friend, a lady, who was the the women's national tennis champion of India for several years. A very accomplished tennis player. Now she coaches tennis and she also plays golf for fun. And I was playing with her once, and a pretty decent golfer, a 13 handicapper, which is considered to be really good. She hit a shot, which was a really bad shot. The ball barely, she was trying to hit the ball about 100 yards. The ball barely went 20 yards. And, many people, when they do that, curse themselves or, feel really bad about it, down on themselves. This lady, she's a wonderful lady. She just smiled and turned around and looked at the rest of us who were playing with us and with an expression of, what was that? And she promptly walked to her next shot, took the appropriate club, and hit the ball really close to the hole with the next shot. So as bad as the previous shot was, the next shot was quite brilliant. And she again turned around to the rest of us, shrugged her shoulder and said, what was that? Now this lady, this wonderful sports person recognizes that you need to maintain an even keel in a sport and also in life. That translates to life. Good things happen, bad things happen. And sometimes there is an element of luck involved in that. So take it in your stride and focus on the most important thing, which is the next shot you have to play in life, the next action you have to take. So having a short memory about these sorts of things, not get too high with your success, not get too low with your failure, but maintain your composure and keep moving on. Golf really teaches you that, otherwise you can't play the game. The second story was about the element of luck. So I have a classmate, probably one of the smartest guys I know. His name is Anil Ahuja. He's a very, very successful guy. He's been a banker. He has been a venture capitalist. He's an investor. Is running a very successful business now. Very, very smart guy. In spite of all this success, when I talk to Anil, he always points out that, you know what, in these things there is an element of luck. And he's always reminded me of that yeah, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you need to have some luck to be successful. But obviously you have to keep working at things and keep making progress to be successful. But take things in your stride and keep pushing on. That's what I learned from Anil. And golf really teaches you that. So that is the second thing. The third thing that golf teaches you is to separate practice from performance. They work very differently. When you are learning golf or when you are improving a shot, you have to be very deliberate about what you are doing. You know, where's your elbow in the swing? Is your head coming up, etc.? Wrist position. There's a lot of technical stuff involved. And one of my coaches, a really good coach, golf coach, used to always tell me that, Nitin, when you are practicing, do all this, to build muscle memory, where's your elbow, where's your wrist, etc. But when you go out and play, forget about all this. You build muscle memory, you are very deliberate in practice. When you go out and perform, you just play. Be yourself, be natural, express yourself. But when you are doing that, when you are performing, watch yourself, get feedback, see if there are any patterns or tendencies so that you can come back with that feedback and continue to work on your game with deliberate practice. These two things have to be treated very, very differently. It happens in all of sport and it happens in real life. If you have to make a presentation, for example, when you are practicing, when you are preparing, be very deliberate, maybe record it, look at what is happening, where are your hands, if you have trouble positioning your hands, etc., work on it and be very deliberate about it. But when you go out and actually do the presentation, be yourself, express yourself, get feedback from people. In fact, you yourself will learn some things, what you did well and what you didn't, but check for feedback. Bring that back and in your practice next time, work on it to improve it. Any new skill you're learning in the workplace, deliberate practice and then go out and perform, particularly with behavioral skills. So golf again teaches you that. If you get very deliberate about your shots while playing and performing, very hard to play. You just tend to start making a lot of mistakes. So you have to be natural. The fourth thing that golf teaches you is respect. Respect your opponent. Respect your playing partners. And how does it do that? Golf is one of those sports which has a very, very strong etiquette, which is part of the sport. Golf etiquette is really big, and there are very, very standard guidelines that most golfers who play the game know about. For example, you have to wait for your turn to play. If we are all playing together and the ball is close to and we have hit the ball towards the hole, the person who is furthest away gets to play first. So you wait for them. When they are playing their shot, you do not disturb them. You stay quiet. You do not sledge. You do not make any noise or undue movement which might disturb them. You do all of these things. There's a whole bunch of things and you follow. Now, there are people who don't follow it. And I know people who don't follow it. Like who will keep playing out of turn throughout a round of golf. It gets very irritating for the other people, but they tend to do that. So that, like I said, golf is a microcosm of life. Your tendencies in life will tend to show up on the golf course, but that is not good. Golf does teach you etiquette and how to respect your opponents, respect your partners and other people, not even in your group but otherwise everywhere else where they are playing. Respect them and do not disturb them. The last thing is responsibility, and this is really important. Again, as I said, golf is a difficult sport. It might look very easy when you watch it on TV, but try going out and playing and you will see how tough this sport is. And because it is tough, we tend to make a lot of mistakes. Even good players make a lot of mistakes. You must learn to take responsibility for your mistakes. A lot of people I have seen who, if they play a bad shot, will blame it to some noise that was made, or they will blame it on, I'm not in a good mood today, or my club is slipping, or my hand is oily, or the sun is too bright. That's why this is not happening. If you take responsibility for your outcomes, there is a much better chance that you will play a better shot next time, because then you can fix it. But so it teaches you that look at yourself, work in your circle of influence and see what you can do better next time to not repeat the mistake, instead of looking for excuses and blaming the world, which is sort of like your circle of concern. Now, if it is too bright and the sun is is bothering you and you're blaming the sun for the bad shot, you're not going to be able to fix it. The sun is going to remain the same, and the rest of the round you're not going to be able to play well. But if you say, what I'm going to say is, I didn't play a very good shot. Maybe I should take a couple of deep breaths, then address the ball and play the shot. I'll do better next time. There's a better chance that you will hit a good shot. So take responsibility. So those are the 5 things I have learned from golf, and they have really helped me become a better person and become a better career professional. So once again, what are those 5 things that I've learned from golf? Be authentic. Number 2, maintain an even keel. Learn how to separate practice from performance. Respect for others and taking responsibility for your outcomes. If you haven't played this sport, give it a shot. It's a fun sport to play. You can play it at any age and improve your ability, and it's a lot of fun. So that's all for today from me. See you again next time on another edition of Career Magic.